They're not all even the same parts, so they're different manufacturers. And we have 2 military reuse guns that are Vietnam era. Primarily every officer is carrying their own personal one right now. I don't believe any of the department ones are in use due to the condition that they're in.
And it was mentioned that we have officers using their personal firearms. It creates a personal liability issue, and it's a major liability issue in my mind. And I'd ask that this be brought forward because that is something that I will not agree to. I didn't know that until it came up in that meeting.
Okay, so patrol rifles are used in more serious situations. If we ever had something like an active shooter in a school or something like that, a patrol rifle is definitely going to be our weapon of choice for that due to the range that we could be working with. We also encounter lots of people up here with deer rifles and stuff like that. Thankfully, it's been a long time since our department's been involved in any type of a critical incident where shots were fired, but it has happened in our history and it could happen again. So we like to be prepared. They become a standard issue piece of equipment in law enforcement across the country.
Any other questions? Any questions?
There were 2 quotes on here. What's the difference?
The difference is suppressors versus no suppressors. The advantage of suppressors is that in a shooting scenario, an AR-15 style rifle produces about 165 decibels of noise. So that instantly is going to make the officer that is there, as well as any other officers, temporarily basically deaf. At that point, they're not going to be able to communicate with their partner, not going to be able to talk to central dispatch, let other officers know what's happening. Also, if you're talking about a low light situation, nighttime, it definitely reduces the amount of muzzle flash you get so you don't lose your night vision.
Are there any other grants out there that would help pay for this?
Not that I've found as of right now, no. I'm not saying there's not. I just haven't found any grants for firearms that the criteria fits into.
And we don't have any rifles at this time in the police department.
We have, I believe, 3 that have been kind of piecemealed together over the years. They're not all even the same parts anymore. Like an AR is built of an upper and a lower. So they're different manufacturers. And we have 2 military reuse guns that are Vietnam era. Primarily every officer is carrying their own personal one right now. I don't believe any of the department ones are in use due to the condition that they're in.
Was this amount budgeted or is this outside the budget?
This was something that came up. We had it budgeted in our CIP for next year. And as Mr. Woosworth indicated, after the budget meeting, he asked that I get numbers.
So what would that mean? We'd have to make an allocation to pay for this one since it's not in this year's budget?
I'm sorry, what?
Well, since it's not in this year's budget, it's in next year's. Would we have to allocate some, we have to do an allocation and move some money to pay for this?
They're going to use the rest of the ARPA money and marijuana money.
Yeah, we have money left
They
over.
would have to,
ARPA.
That's my questions, please.
Not from next year.
It's not just coming out of.
Oh,
but then is that all of the money then, Josh? That's completely everything for ARPA that has to be used by 2025?
Now that finishes up the marijuana and we still have some additional ARPA funds left, right about 180,000.
I'd like us to use the rest of the ARPA money for new equipment at the beach downtown, personally, because we haven't gotten a grant. But my opinion.
Well,
We look at what we have down there and see what we can put together.
we have to allocate the ARPA money by the end of this year.
Yes.
We don't have to spend it, but we have to allocate it
Yeah.
before the end of this fiscal year. Any other questions?
No.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Cummings,
Yes.
Ms. McGuire,
Yes.
Mr. Spencer,
yes.
Mr. Taser,
Yes.
Mr. Sutton, yes, Mr. Worcester,
Yes.
Mr. Palmer,
Yes, motion passed.